Hello and welcome to Inside Salem. I'm your host, Mike Allen. On this show, we try to go behind the scenes, behind the headlines of what's happening in town, in the city of Salem, and for that purpose, we assembled a crew of people in the know. We have Teasie Riley-Goggin, Salem political analyst.
Hey, thank you, Mike.
Domingo Dominguez, former former council at large. We have Tom Furey,
Thank you.
Former school committee member and current planning board member, and Megan Stott, former Ward 6 city councilor and current school committee member. Welcome all.
Thank you.
Okay, on this show we will be talking about a mayor group that has been formed to fight the rent control ballot question, school cuts for the city of Salem, possible loss of the Gateway City designation, and maybe, just maybe, we might talk about the upcoming override vote on May 5th. So those are the topics we will have. First thing I'd like to talk about is this mayor's group. I was pleasantly surprised when I read that in the newspaper that a group of mayors have formed this group to educate the public about the problems with rent control, and that being that with that the property values drop, therefore that's one of the many problems, but the property values drop, the housing stock doesn't get replenished, it doesn't get refurbished, it's not maintained, and again, ultimately, the city tax revenue goes down. TC, you've had lots of...
Yeah, I'm listening to what you're saying, but it's not making sense to me because,
okay.
I'm a firm believer that I really think that it would be great if you could have rent control if it was done correctly.
How is it done correctly? That's always the...
Right. with most things.
Yeah.
Because I believe, I look at what's going on with many people that have left Salem because of the increased exorbitant rents that we charge.
Yeah.
I mean, downtown Salem right now, I know one young person who recently looked to move out of where she had been living because it was $2,600 for a 3-room apartment, and then she also had to pay her own heat, and that was National Grid, and that was very expensive.
Yeah.
As far as I'm concerned, I think there's an awful lot of what we call American greed out there, but what's wrong with the city of Salem, and I'm not talking about other cities or towns, is the outside developers that have been moved into Salem and welcomed by the former administration.
Yeah.
But I think it's an issue that is not pertaining only to Salem. I think it's a nationwide, but also the state of Massachusetts, if I'm not mistaken, I think it was put in the ballot at one point where we see that many people rejected any type of control. And the reason why I think is a issue that not only had to deal with the cost of living, but also the cost of what's happening globally, especially when we have a lot of increase on energy or any other type of commodity, bring with that a big chunk of increase on things. And one of the things that is getting more increases at all is the living, the rental. Because when the rental go up, it's because the taxes go up, it's because the water and sewers go up, it's because so many other implications, and at the end of the day, the landlord have to kind of pass it to someone. And what we see right now is, I'm a landlord myself, what we see right now is that whoever paid the most is the little one, the renter. So it is something that I don't know what is the formula to fix it, but I think when you see other states around us, they had similar situation too.
Yeah, okay.
Rent control is like a third rail on the MBTA. It's a very emotional, traumatic experience for renting. I'm a renter all my life. My family has been a renter, and it has a disproportionate effect on everybody. My house is an owner-occupied house. I'm very proud to live there. The rent is comfortable for me to live in. And on the opposite side, would you believe, one of my family relatives moved into the old Bertini's development.
Okay, yeah.
Bertini's, 5 units, 5 buildings,
Yeah.
240 units. And she's living in a one-bedroom apartment in the old Bertini's, $2,300 a month,
Okay.
much more than I am paying
Yeah.
for a bigger place. So
Yeah.
it's disproportionate. So when I say a Bertini's development goes up with 240 units, rents go up all to all of them. So
Right.
it's staggering. It's a third rail. It's
Yeah.
not a panacea issue, but I think it would help out. I think it's positive.
To have rent control.
To have rent control.
Okay.
So I think the idea and the intent is good. I don't know about the details of the proposal that they're trying to get on the ballot this time, but I think a lot of it, getting it on a ballot initiative, speaks to just the issues that residency of the state coming up with any solution and putting anything forward. You know, building more, it's hard with all the blocking and zoning issues and approvals that are needed and permitting. You know, we can't increase the rental stock, but prices are going up. So I think it's just, we need some sort of solution being proposed to help those. And this is one of those solutions. I don't know if it's the magic bullet, might not be, but I think it's speaking volumes to the fact that our state isn't coming up with those solutions, reducing the barriers that are needed to help those that are in rental properties.
Thing is this, 30 years ago, there have been 20 years ago, Teasie, you might know the date more than I do, we voted a referendum to end, make rent control illegal in Massachusetts, because they had it in Boston, and after that happened, Boston had a resurgence of building and a revitalization, because it had, they used to have, annual, weekly fires of distressed properties, and they weren't being rebuilt, and so it just seems to me that if someone is making an investment into a property, and they know that there's a rent control law there, they're less likely to make that investment, it would seem to me. Again, TC, you've been a landlord for a long time, so.
Well, I'll tell you, before the show started, we were talking about what we have for heating in our homes.
Yeah.
And you had gas that you put in a number of years ago.
Yeah.
I recently changed over to a 5-bedroom unit that I own, my husband and I owned, and it cost $50,000 to put gas in.
Right,
Before, they used to pay you, so to speak. They'd put everything in and they wouldn't charge you anything for it.
Yeah.
And I mean, now if they have things that you just hang on the wall and it's put in by a plumber and everything right down the line.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you, rent control is one thing, but the other thing is everything should be looked at right now. People should really say, let's get together and let's do something about turning this world from being upside down, right side up, and see what we can do right for the people.
Okay.
The first thing that you really start with is food prices. There was a time that they used to have OPA, and they used to have food prices that they would try and control the same as rent.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, if I heard correctly, and I'm going to quote what I heard from reporters about Market Basket, and that's the fact that they have, I believe at the present time, in almost all New England states, they have about 90 stores right now, and they started off real slow
Right,
up there in Andover and New Hampshire, right?
Yeah.
And I know that the family is fighting and everything. That right there to me is, real greed. But someone said, reporter said that that they felt that the Market Basket right now has a net worth of $7 billion.
Okay, yeah.
Now, they're building stores, and there's, I don't know how, after the pandemic and everything, that we all go to the store and we all look. Every single thing in that store, all stores practically, have gone up.
Yeah.
I don't care if you're looking at toothpicks or shoelaces or a quart of milk, or
Yeah.
it's how.
That is correct.
How have they, why are they being allowed to do this?
Because what we had happen is during the pandemic, we primed the pump. We printed money to pay people who weren't working. And what happened was that was continued on well past the point that it was needed. When the economy was recovering, they still continued printing money. Well, if you have $100 out there and there's 10 things to buy, that's $10 each. If you have $200 out there and there's only only 10 things to buy, they're going to be $20 each. Because the person says, well, the person can afford to spend more because they have more. So that's what inflation is caused by. Inflation is not caused by a particular business raising their price. It is caused by, that is the symptom, but the cause is the fact that the government prints money. They printed a ridiculous amount of money in the past 5 years or whatever, starting with COVID, and continued it on, because of the fact that it was just and we're spending, like in terms of housing stock, we have a very high percentage of people who are not in this country legally, and they're being provided. They're living in houses somewhere. They're living in apartments somewhere. And those people are competing with the people who are here legally, and therefore, a landlord can say, well, I've got 7 people want to see this apartment. Now, if you've got 7 people want to see your apartment, you can charge more for it than if you only have 1 person who wants to see your apartment. Because you can say, oh, if this person says no, the next person will say yes. So that is what has happened here. And
I think you refer to supply and demand, which is kind of help build any type of price in any given point. The fact that there are new rule and regulations in different aspects of the United States make it a little bit harder to compete, but also make it a little bit harder to maintain the prices because of the increase on price on many factors that are involved. Not only maybe in this case the immigration, legal or not legal, which is basically what we're referring at this point. But when you have so many people competing for the same thing, no matter what status they have, you're going to be able to increase price because of supply and demand.
Right, supply and demand. And the thing is this, it creates shortages as well. If a grocery store is used to having, selling 10 gallons of milk a day, and all of a sudden there's more population, and now there's, they're going through 14 gallons of milk, they can raise the prices up because, they're committed. They have a contract where they're going to get 10 gallons of milk a day, and because that's what a lot of these big stores do, they set up contracts. We're going to take this much stuff. If you have a guaranteed sale to our store and give us a good price, well, if you want to get past that point, now you need to pay more. And so because of it, that's something else that causes, I mean, when you mentioned Market Basket, now Market Basket, I've been into several of them, and I'm always impressed at how busy they are in all the stores. I've gone into other grocery stores as well, and you look like, are they even open? And Market Basket is just thriving. Now, their prices are lower, and they are, I guess they have the right selection, and whatever they're doing it right. We don't know how good their margins are, but it seems like they must be good enough because they seem like they're staying strong. So they seem like they know what they're doing.
But right now, Mike, just stop and look, and all people can't afford it. But the big thing of transitional assistance right now, and that should not be a way of life, right there.
Yeah.
It should not be a way of life. It should be a temporary thing, and people should be told that they're going to have to. But it's hard to do this and enforce it because we're bringing so many people into this country.
Correct.
And not really taking care of the people who are already here.
Yes.
And I'm not a racist of any time right down the line.
Has nothing to do with
It's
race.
just logical.
It has to do with numbers.
Yes.
Yeah.
But we
The
run on
biggest
credit.
part about grocery overhead is gasoline, right? Our oil is
Yeah,
going up, so
yeah.
it costs more to get the
Yeah.
food to the store, and that's supermarkets in general have actually a very small profit margin.
Correct. They're very
small.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I don't think they're like saying, I can gouge prices because now there are
Right.
more people here. It's basically based on their distribution and the cost of getting the product to the store.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, the large grocery stores are notoriously slim. Work on notoriously
Very slim margins. Yeah.
But
Well, you know, I have a son who was a CEO at Star Market and also at First National Stores, and he always said that the markup on food prices that we have, he said, in our stores is not. We do not make a lot of money on
right,
food.
yeah, it's all because they sell so much. That's the key thing.
Yeah, right.
And they really need to to do the volume.
But I find it hard to believe that when I hear about Market Basket.
Well, again, Market Basket prices are lower than all these other places.
You couldn't prove it by me.
No. I mean, again, if you
I know what you're saying,
yeah,
Mike.
yeah. I mean, that's why we shop there. I mean, we shop at Market Basket and get a lot of our stuff there. We shop other places as well because we like the quality better at some of the other places. But on certain items, things that they carry that other places carry, they could be as much as 20% less than, say, like Whole Foods.
Stop and Shop. I walk in and walk around and walk out.
Yeah.
I
No.
do that at Market Basket. It's too crazy for me.
Yeah.
I can't do it.
Yeah.
I like Stop and Shop. No one's in there.
Yeah, and again, I don't do a whole lot of shopping, so it doesn't bother me.
Yeah. I will say, though, to get back to the rent control question and
Yeah.
are we in support of it and what is it trying to solve, right? The cost of housing is
Yeah.
very expensive. For me personally, I think something that I would love to see is a ballot measure to get rid of zoning in general. I think we have a lot of land out there that people are holding on to and not able to build. And going back to the supply and demand question, we don't have enough supply of housing for the demand that we have in the state. And one of the biggest barriers to that is not rent control. One of the biggest barriers to that is the ability to build.
Right,
So
but
making that better for those that can build or a little easier pathway to get to would be something I would fully support.
But, I mean, here's the thing. And when we do away with zoning, does that mean that someone tears down the house next to you and builds a 20-story apartment building there? Mm-hmm. Is that what's going to be allowed?
Well, so it's a complicated question. I mean,
Really?
yes, we
Yeah, I
can't
mean,
just
that's the
go
thing,
in
you
and
know?
say get rid of zoning, but the zoning that we currently have town by town is too restrictive. So
Yeah.
single family zoning to just by right ADUs, I feel like that was baby steps to get to what ultimately remove the restriction, the setbacks that we have that most homes in Salem don't conform to anyway, yet we make new housing and new additions.
Right, yeah.
So
I mean,
things like that,
yeah.
when I say, reduce zoning, it's getting rid of those barriers in general. I think single family zoning would be an easy one to get rid of, to make it 2-family zoning. No, I don't think a 20-story building should go next to a bunch of
Okay.
single family. I don't think anybody would want to do that. But I think 2 families, 3 families should be able to coexist with single families.
But what about the person who buys into a single-family neighborhood because that's what they want to live into?
I think that's a weird concept. I mean, you buy into a neighborhood to live in, and
Yeah.
you're going to have neighbors there.
Yeah.
How many particular neighbors live next door? I mean, that
Well,
part
again,
is strange to me.
There is oftentimes a different dynamic with someone owns a property as opposed to someone renting a property.
That's also a strange concept to me. I
Okay.
think someone that lives somewhere, it's their home, and they're going to take care of it.
Okay, but I think that may be for many people, but there's many people who are not that way.
Yeah,
as
and
well.
there are very many people that own homes and don't take care of
That
them.
is true as
So
well.
it's on both
Right.
sides. I mean, I
Right.
see what
But
you're
in that
saying.
case, they're affecting
and that's where we
themselves.
need like the health agent and
Yeah.
various
Yeah.
like
My
building.
concern into that point is that many times, I mean, we create any type of solution, but whoever had the most power for buying is the one that take the advantage. We as a little guy sometimes will not be able to do things to help the community.
Yeah.
So we see people, opportunists that have a lot of cash, come into a neighborhood, and take advantage of any solution that we think would be better
Yeah.
for everyone. And we ending to be displaced because they take over.
Yeah, and that's the way it has to happen
If there is any
now.
type of rules that control that area, we're going to be able to see some solution. But if we don't have those guardian for the little people, the solution that
The
we think
rules-
it will be a worse nightmare.
The rules that are in place now, only those with money can play by, right? Those with money can get lawyers, can go to the planning, can go to ZBA, can put up plans, can buy multiple lots. Those with money can play by the rules now. So restricting those rules and making it more of an open
would be
playing
ideal.
field.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, there really should be much less in terms of those rules. They are, I mean, setbacks and things like that, lot sizes. I mean, in so many communities, you can't build on anything less than an acre.
Yeah,
You know,
I think
I mean-
Boxford's like 2 acres or something.
Yeah. I mean, and that is restrictive zoning, very restrictive. I mean, on the other hand, do we want people to build on 3,000 square foot lots? I mean, so there is, that's what we're always arguing about, the margins, where those margins exist, where that line exists, where we can build on, how big a lot should it be,
Yeah.
how dense it should be, et cetera. And that's where the issue is.
Yeah, well, those are the conversations I think we should be having versus, this
Yeah,
rent control,
okay.
which I agree has its
Yeah, but the other
downsides
thing
to it.
too is I'm going to look at Salem again and just say it was the people that we elected
Yeah,
that have helped destroy the city that we once had.
okay.
Oh, I love our city. I don't think it's destroyed.
Or that we once had.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
Yeah, again, and that's, that is, people came in and said, I want to live in Salem, and they said, I'll pay more for this house than what the other person was going to pay who lived in Salem, and can't blame the seller for selling it for the person who paid more. I mean, that's just it. And again, we had the condo conversion things, and how do you say to someone, when you've had your piece of property and you have a chance to, your kids are all grown, you're going to move down to a warmer climate, and no, you can't maximize your 3-family house that you've owned for years by selling it to some developer who's going to convert it into condos and make money. Or do it
As we
yourself.
say, Mike, it's all part of democracy, right?
It is, exactly. Yeah, so that's the thing. I mean, it is messy. City of Salem is losing or in danger of losing its gateway city designation. I guess we have improved in some way.
When you said that, I haven't really read much of anything on it lately.
Yeah.
I just remember that Mayor Kim Driscoll put us in as a gateway city
Yeah.
without ever having us take a vote on it.
Correct. And again, at this point in time, I believe that and I don't know the details of it, I'm not sure. Tom, do you know any of the details of why we're going to lose or why we have lost our designation?
We've always been a gateway city. We sincerely, since the foundation of the city of Salem 250 years ago, has been a gateway city.
Well, okay,
And
let's-
even as our school,
Yeah.
today,
Yeah.
the schools have improved because we are a gateway on our testing, on our graduation rate. Salem High School, more kids are going to Salem High School.
Okay, but I'm not talking about.
No, that's not it,
I'm
Tom.
talking about that. I'm talking about the state designation with the state, because we are a gateway city. The state has subsidized developers to build housing here and things like that. So why is that in
I don't think
jeopardy?
it's being revised with Kim Driscoll as the lieutenant governor. I think you see on the planning board myself, I see a lot more housing coming into Salem
Yeah.
along the MBTA route. We have housing now being converted. The old Holyoke Insurance Company is all housing. The old Holyoke Insurance Company in downtown.
Okay.
All the leather factories that we
But, I mean, CDI was now
Yes.
CDI? Okay, yeah.
Yes.
That
We
is-
have housing in the church, Tabernacle Church across the street from the, not too far from where you are,
Right, yeah.
Tabernacle Church and the courthouses. That's going to be veterans housing. So you see housing in on the planning board. You see it, St. Credians on the Long Avenue, the old St. Credians South Campus.
Yeah.
So it's housing galore. So I think, in fact, we are still a gateway city.
Well, this is, I guess, the concern was that the developers would be losing either, something that gives them a lower interest rate or grants to do this, and that was the concern.
The ones that I see on the planning board aren't getting cut back. They're waiting for the grants to come in and the tax
Okay.
incentives to come in, whether it's the courthouses across the triangular lot on the MBTA.
Yeah,
Crescent lot.
Crescent lot, thank you.
yeah.
Thank you. Crescent lot, it's a boomtown in Salem for housing development.
Yeah.
And I think we still are designated as a gateway city, development coming in.
Okay. As I said, I read in the paper that we were because of our success.
If this is tied up with the federal government at any point, because I think that's my guess, what is happening, excuse me, is that the federal government is cutting a lot of the programs
Yeah.
in the United States, especially for political reasons sometimes
Yeah. Yeah.
because of
No,
they don't
philosophical
believe
and
in-
political reasons. Yeah.
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 So maybe that will happen, that they cut some of the program. Happen to be that the Way City one is being
Okay.
cut by the federal government. That's what my guess. I have no information, but I think.
All right, Mike, would you say that looking back, I mean, Salem used to be referred to as a blue-collar worker.
Yeah.
And right now, would you say that they still look at it as a blue-collar?
No. No.
See,
We have
and
a barbell.
I see a change in what's happened because, and it's evident when you talk about building a new school where we're not going to get 90% because we no longer are a blue-collar
Right.
worker.
We used to be a community that sort of a bell curve thing where we had this many lower income, and then you have the middle,
Right.
and then you'd have the wealthy. Well, now we're sort of barbell. We have a lot of low income and a lot of well-to-do, and that middle group is not that great because they're the ones that have been displaced a lot. People who have been blue-collar workers have been displaced a bit. So yes, we are not the blue-collar city we once were.
No.
With our leather factories, and we have a lot of leather factories in Salem.
I think that explains a lot of America right now. I think, was it the Times or the Globe that just had an article about the loss of middle America, right? There's not as much in that middle anymore. It's harder to
Actually, the
land there.
middle income group has actually grown, but it's moved. The people that were in the lower middle have moved up to the upper middle, and if you actually take out the newcomers, then you would see that we would actually have a much higher. There would be a much higher designation.
I lived in Greenwich, Connecticut, probably one of the most well-earned of people with lots and lots of money. It used to go back and forth between Brookline here in Massachusetts and Greenwich, Connecticut.
Yeah, that's
But I will say right now, there's an awful lot of money out there. I don't know where it's all coming from,
okay.
and maybe I don't want to find out.
Okay. On to some school topics then. First thing talk about is the school is looking like it's going to need to cut 32 jobs from the upcoming thing. Can you let us
Yeah,
know how
so
that
I
is?
think 30 was the number of positions, but it's kind of it's a mathematical equation every year, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we had our budget last year. This year, I think it was a 4.5% increase over last year.
Yeah.
But when we look at just costs in general, like utilities are going up 18%, personnel costs, which is the largest portion of the budget, is going up like 8%. So basically cost for everything is going up more than that 4.5%.
Yeah.
We did add some roles over the last year. Some people have left roles and not filled. So of that 30 number, I think it was like net 12
So
positions.
net 12 you're
12 or
going
15.
to send
Yeah.
a pink slip to, in effect.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, yeah, because you always have a certain number of people that that move on each year. So
Yeah.
that's the case, yeah. Okay.
But the high school, do we now truly have not 917, but 860 in the school?
You know, students? No, the number is going up.
How many students are in the Salem High School?
Oh, it's 900 something? I don't know
Okay.
exactly.
We heard 860.
860?
It was 917, and then we checked, and they said 860.
I've heard 975.
Yeah, I've heard in the 900s
Yeah.
most recently.
Okay.
So I don't know
Okay.
who.
Let's use that 1,000. Let's use 1,000 as a
yeah.
number. Okay.
Yeah.
For my next
It
discussion.
fluctuates throughout the year, right? People move in, move out.
Yeah.
I think October 1st is always the like official student count date, right?
Yeah.
At some point, it's related to the topic that we was talking about, the rent. When people cannot afford to live, they had to move, and eventually they move with the children. So that affect the numbers that we have in school. And that's why at one point I hear some people discussing that we need to focus not only on area, but we need to focus in the whole picture. That when something, we make any decision based on any factor, we need to understand that that's also going to touch other factors.
Yeah.
The way of living is very hard everywhere, but there are some places that you can afford it better than others. And that's what we have to maintain here. We need to make sure that if we wanted to attract people, we need to work in a very comprehensive plan where we can have all of the aspects completely focused and try to find solutions for each one of them so we can have people here.
Well, I say right now, I'm not predicting exactly when, but it's coming. And it's going to be a crash because we can't keep going this way.
Okay. We've got a $1 million state grant for the continuation of the Salem Skipper. That's a very good program for a lot of people. Probably not so great for the cab companies, but for the people using this service, it's really a good news for them.
I had to admit that when they roll out this program, at one point or another, the taxi company approached me when I used to be the counselor, and they was worried. I mean, they thought that they're going to lose their job, they're going to lose businesses, and that will replace them. And I remember some of them say, we support our family, and this is what the only income we have. And I was also in the same page, honestly. But now, reflecting on through time, the program is very well effective, very well needed for the community. And I think that if they continue to do it and increase it, we help a lot to the community as a whole.
Yeah, I think it's a great program, and it serves as, I remember those conversations well.
Yep.
It serves a different kind of bucket of people that need cars or need transportation. You know, a taxi is great and convenient, and you can call them up and they'll be right there immediately, pretty much, and get you there quickly without having to wait, without having to share, but the cost is a little higher. The Skipper, the cost is lower, you might have to wait a little longer, you might have to share with someone else. It's kind of a more restricted route.
And it doesn't pick you up at your house.
It doesn't pick you up exactly where it picks you up.
Yeah,
or
here
where you
or
want to
there,
go.
and drops
But it's
you
a
off
very reduced rate, though, so
Yeah,
it's very
yeah.
helpful to many, many, many people.
Yeah, yeah.
But totally different markets. So
Yeah.
it's great to see that the Skipper
Yeah,
is expanding
glad
and
to see that.
continuing. They've moved
Okay.
out to they can
Okay.
deliver now to like the hospitals and Danvers and all of that.
They say the drivers of the Skipper are the best paid drivers around.
Huh, okay.
They don't give benefits. They give an astronomical salary that they pay them.
Okay, I hadn't heard that.
Yep.
You know, it really doesn't matter, you know, because it's,
No.
well, I guess it does, because it's being paid for by tax dollars. Salem, City of Salem voted to hike parking fees in the month of October. You know, take it, you know, to offset the cost the extra cost we have in October, as well as supply and demand. Take advantage of that, as does private business, and I can't really blame them for that. Any comments on any of that?
I'm just thrilled to never have to talk about parking fees again. No, it's a complicated one. I mean, I think always trying to look at ways that can increase revenue solely from tourists, right? And yes, it's complicated though, because people still work downtown in the month of October that are not tourist related. People still that live here go eat downtown. So it's a very, very complicated topic. But I agree with, you know, raising the fees, especially knowing that parking lots are charging exorbitant amounts of money.
Right, yeah. I mean,
so
if the private lots are charging that a
Yeah.
month and filling them up.
You
why
don't want to
shouldn't the
encourage
city
like,
or
oh, I'll
city?
just get a ticket or I'll just park here because it's cheaper. Like, so
Yeah.
it's a lot about
Yeah, right. I
encouraging
mean, a
use.
ticket, overtime meter parking is $25. At least the last I saw was $25. And
Yeah.
even if you're on Boston Street, that you're paying $30 to park there.
Yeah.
And you have to walk downtown from there. So yeah, so I can understand that, the logic of
Yeah.
that. But okay.
And it's very complicated. And the October parking that goes out into the neighborhoods as well is also very complicated.
Last month, I brought up the fact that Mayor Pangalo had put a request before the state legislature to have a local option sales tax. He has withdrawn that request, so that is no longer on the table.
Wisdom on his part, wisdom, a lot of wisdom. Withdraw it, not the right time.
Yeah. Okay, so now, I mean, the main thing that's happening in 3 weeks, basically, 2.5 weeks from when this show airs, will be a vote for override for the school building, new Salem High School, and we just sort of agreed upon a working number of 1,000 students at the high school. And what is class size, typically for the high school students?
For the high school, I know it's worked into the teacher contract for class sizes, but they're smaller than what contractually is. I don't know the number off the top of my head. I would say 22, maybe.
Okay.
Remember when I used to teach in elementary school, the size used to be at 28 for the elementary school.
Right, yeah.
No, it's much smaller.
And now when I was on the school committee, we made elementary 16.
16?
And that was 20 years ago, about. So.
Yeah, I think the highest area is middle school, has like the highest numbers, and it's lower for elementary and high school.
Okay. So anyways, let's talk some numbers here then, so people know what they're voting for. Talking about close to $500 million, or a half of $1 billion with a B. And 1,000 students, the cost of the new high school is $500 million per student. A classroom of 22 students, and let's just take 20 because that's easier to do the math on here. That means every single classroom, we're going to be spending, in effect, $5 million per classroom. At $500,000 per student, I mean, you can almost build individual houses for all of them for that, It just seems an absurd amount of money for this project.
Can you explain
And I
that
don't
to me?
care what other schools systems
I don't get how
think.
you did that math, because are you saying like the kids in the classroom right then and there, like there will never be a second set of kids?
No, I'm just using how much it costs per, to build it.
But per student, the students are gonna
Okay, that's correct.
So you're
But-
just talking about the one point in time, that one.
To build a classroom that holds 20 students will cost $5 million. So we're going to
But not per
have 20
student,
students, however long it lasts, it's still $5 million to build a classroom. Almost the size of this studio with all your amenities and stuff like that, we're talking $5 million. That, to me, seems very, very exorbitant.
I mean, it's a high price. It's very expensive. I don't disagree with that. It is a high price, but we look at surrounding projects that are going on now, and it's in line, one of the lower ones, actually.
If you look
And
at the alternative.
but I remember, just to answer that question, I remember my mother saying to me, and probably everyone's mother said to them, if Billy jumps off the bridge, are you going to jump off the bridge as well? So the fact that other
If the bridge
cities
is
are
on
taking...
fire, I'd jump off it. It's all about context.
But I think if you look at the ballot question, and there was a problem with the ballot question when it was first put out for a ballot question.
Yeah.
And they even called in and went to Michelle Tassineri, who was head of elections out of Boston, to take a look at it.
Yeah.
And then it went to the city solicitor here in the city of Salem, and they had to take the ballot questions that they questioned that they had already printed out and print out a new one. Because on that ballot question, they never mentioned that it was going to be, a 30-year. You've got to let people know what you're doing.
Okay.
And
So
if you
that
don't,
wasn't the reprint, though. The 30-year wasn't the reprint. The reprint was they took out some text that was on there. That was the reprint. It doesn't say 30-year on there. So it didn't say 30-year before or 30-year after. I don't know if that's what you were saying.
no, but you have to let people know what they're voting for and what they're going to get out of it. But right now, it's damned if you do and damned if you don't, and that's the only way to look at this whole question. Because if you vote yes, then you're up, for the, as they say, about $480 billion or thereabout.
Yeah.
But if you vote no, then you're going to be looking at, if they say you've got to make the changes in the school that you have at the present time, and it's going to be more like, you know, it's going to cost more than if you said yes. It's going to be like $300 billion to make repairs.
Yeah, yeah.
And they said that they probably, in all probability, would not be allowed to ask the state for money. Now, we questioned that, and we were told that
Well, we can ask.
that's not a definite.
You can ask for anything, right?
Yes.
It's whether or not the state will give the grant
Right.
back. That's
Yeah.
the not definite.
But the
Well,
only thing
again, it
is,
would seem like
this
the
right
state would-
now
okay.
is snowballing. Right now, you have even your counselors that now are setting up meetings for their constituents in Ward 2, another one in Ward 3. People are saying, what's going on? The people are really questioning this whole thing.
Well, that's good. I mean, we as the building committee have been out in the public for 2 years now because it is a complicated project and providing information, but everybody's busy. It hasn't been at the top of everyone's mind for the past 2 years, but now that there's a ballot question out and a decision needs to be made, we're more than welcome to go speak to anyone that has questions, answer community discussions. We had the open house. It was in between the last filming, so the end of last month we had an open house, lots of community forums. We had an online one on Monday. There's another one Sunday night on Zoom. You're correct, ward counselors are having neighborhood meetings to answer questions. So I think that's great, helping to get the word
I think
out.
it's marvelous. But the
Yeah.
whole thing is, you know, I look at it and people have to realize that this is not truly about whether we want a good education for our children or not. This is about, it's the wrong time to bringing and putting it out because people do not have the money. They
There
do
never is
not.
a right time.
Do we
to
kick the
sell it.
can down the road or do we do it now?
Even if it's going to be more later on down the line.
It's going to be more down the line.
Because you know, the idea that a 30-year albatross, as far as I'm concerned.
The state has told us, ultimately, convincingly, that we're going to pay $340 million to repair the old high school. Repair it.
And again-
$340 million. That
Correct.
will take the city of Salem 10, 20 years to build, and it will, by that time, it will be $450 million that we're voting yes on for a new high school.
That's
So
what
we're
we
gonna
just,
pay
as we
now,
just said that, Tom.
Pay later.
And the thing is this, Tom, again, the building commission would have an opportunity to say, okay, fine, if you're going to repair this, instead of us giving you $270 million for this new school, we'll give you $170 million to do the refurbishing. So the city of Salem residents save money, and the state will save money. And that's also the city of Salem residents as well as the residents of all the other communities.
I don't think there's money saving in that factor. There are a lot of other factors included with renovation, and versus new build, as to why that decision was chosen. The location, renovating the existing HVAC systems would continue to have us a large utility bill every year. With the new build, we're doing geothermal, solar, which solar you could possibly do in a renovation, but to hopefully have a net zero energy bill, so that will save us close to $1 million every year in energy costs that we're paying. The disruptiveness, so that's big for those that
So
have
over the
students
50 years, instead of being a $470 million project, it's only a $420 million project.
What math are you doing? Are you doing
If
for
we
the
save
new
$1
builds?
million a year on the utility bill.
Well, that's the problem with what our savings are going to be down the line, or any future grants that we get. We can't factor that into the number now because it hasn't happened yet, right? But
yeah,
any additional, like if we have an additional ticket fee on the Witch House that gives us a $200,000 a year, that's going to directly go
Yeah,
towards
but
the
that's-
bond payment.
that's-
But that's all future stuff that we
Yeah, but
can't
that's,
bank
you
on
know,
and talk
that's
about now.
The mayor wanted to put we're talking about doing a ticket tax. And so what she did was she said, okay, fine, we're gonna have a ticket tax on the Witch House, which is city owned. So instead of raising the price from $5 to $6, she left it at $5 and put a $1 ticket tax on it. So it was just, semantics.
No, I'm not talking about anything in the past. I'm talking about Mayor Pangalo has said
I know that.
this
but
is a
you're
possibility in
but
the
again,
future.
it's the same thing.
That could
I mean,
have
he can raise
X
the
number of
ticket
resume.
price for $1
Yeah.
and
have that dollar
and have that dollar be part of the
specifically
general
go
fund.
towards-
It's
yeah.
the same idea. It's really the same idea.
And that money will specifically go towards paying down the bonds.
And the only reason why it's not raised is because they're trying to maximize. There's that maximize You know, if you charge $20 for something and you get 1,000 people, that's $20,000. But if you charge $10 for something and you get 50,000 people, that's, you know, or 5,000 people, it's $50,000. So even charging less, you might get more people because.
I don't know. Have you ever driven by the Witch House? Anytime it's open and the line that goes, I drive by it 3 times a day.
Me too.
Okay.
There's always a line around the door. They have online ticket sales. I think they're actually pretty low priced, and they could do.
No, they
sort
are.
of an
No,
increase.
I'm saying that they
So
are actually low priced compared to the other
ones. Go down
ones.
that
Yeah.
much. But I mean, none of that's being factored into the
Correct.
bottom line right now. Similar to the utility bill,
Yeah.
similar to any future grants that we might get from like Mass Save or utility grant or like future things that are unknown are not factored into that bill right now.
50 years ago, we brilliantly chose the hot energy product to build our high school around because we knew that electricity was going to be cheap because everyone was going to be building nuclear power plants all over the place. And what happened? It turned out to be a bust. I'm concerned about these other alternative energy sources as well. Could very well be, as Teasie said, an albatross around our neck because it does not produce the energy. And then we need to put in an auxiliary system, a heating system in there, or an air conditioning system in there because it's not working all the time.
We think Salem is the only one being cutbacks and problems that we have. If you look at the town of Swampscott and Marblehead, and they're cutting back teachers just like Salem is, teachers and faculty members. But as we speak today, the last day of school in Marblehead, Marblehead will have a brand new roof on a high school that's much more modern than the Salem High School. They're going to put a $3 million roof on Marblehead High School.
Yeah.
So they're suffering like we are, Swampscott and so on. So Salem really has to look at the future. This is an investment into the future.
Okay.
A brand new building, say yes, is the right choice. It's going to affect me, it's going to affect all of us here.
I'll tell you, I'll look at a brand new building, but let me tell you right now, if you really and truly look at what's going on in the world, AI is coming stronger than ever. Education as we know it will not be as we know it. It's going to be completely different. Wait and see. If you're still
I
around,
think that's the
I'm
case.
saying.
I mean, Salem is
question.
always looking at innovation plans and
There's
changing
no question
education.
that our children deserve the best of the best, especially nowadays, and we need to prepare for the future. But like I always say, we also have to make sure that we balance the equation. We cannot only look at one point or another. I mean, the education system, which is the future, and we need to invest in the future. I agree with many of the arguments on that side. Need to put attention also on mainly on the fact that the education need to be more modernizing and more into time in order for us to have better products. The building actually help a lot, and I think we agreed all of that. And I also believe that everybody in Salem, especially in Salem, we wanted to have better outcome for the education. We wanted to have the best of the best in education. But on the other hand, also, we had to make sure that we had the family living here, that they can afford to live here. We can do not balance those 2 points. We can have better building, but it's going to be empty because family had to move out because they cannot afford to live in Salem. So we need to put both things in balance and make sure that we approach the issue, like I also say, looking at both sides of the equation in order for us to have functional and better idea and good solution for the product that we want to see, which is our children. I'm in the middle of this issue because I have 7 children educated from Salem. My grandkids, I have 7 grandkids who are now the next generation. I want to see them in a better place than we are right now. But on the other hand, if we cannot do something, my children, who are my children, the father and mother of those grandkids, if they cannot afford to pay for the taxes or whatever they had to pay in Salem, they had to move out to another community. So in a way, I wanted to see my kids to live and raise my grandkids in Salem, and I also wanted to see a good education for my grandkids. So if we don't put those things together, myself, I don't want to see either one. On the other hand, I used to be a teacher. I'm also 100% with a very nice building with a lot of technology, very modern and everything. But I used to teach in one of the schools that had maybe the lowest or the lowest standard building, but a very high standard on quality of teachers. I'm very proud that I made that decision. I was hired, and I was giving me the option to go to different building, which very more modern, which I think anybody cannot reject. But at the other hand, I choose to be in one of the, like I say, very, very, very old building,
Right.
but a very big in teaching.
Were you
So
at St. James? Were you at St. James?
Yes.
Yes.
I like to see the quality of education matching the quality of the building. I like to see the quality of the building matching the affordability for the parents who live here so they can continue to raise their family here in Salem. Okay. So that point need to be at one point or another. They need to meet. If they don't meet each other, I don't know what we can do in this issue. I'm divided. I want to see something really going on for both, for my kids, but for my grandkids, and for the entire city of Salem.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, and my kid is going to get the short end of this stick, and I'm not going to have grandkids for a while, I hope. Because she will be graduated, hopefully, when the new school opens, or have an extremely disruptive schooling system of renovations going on for the next 20 years. So for me, I think the best fiscally responsible thing to do is to at once do the new school with a specific debt exclusion towards the new school versus alternatively, we're still paying a lot of money towards repairs, towards disruptive renovations over a much longer period of time, and that comes out of our general funding, right? Maybe we can get some reimbursement from MSBA, but that will be 5 years down the line, and prices will increase in 5 years. So I understand that, not everybody was 100% included in or involved or paying attention for the past 3 years of all of the conversations that got us to this point. But those are the options that we have. We have a school that does not meet or match what's going on inside the school. Do you know we had the highest graduation rate last year in the history of Salem Public Schools?
Good news.
Yeah, second lowest dropout rate, I think, in the history. Good. So we are doing some amazing things in Salem High School. We have the highest number of AP classes on the North Shore, higher than Bishop Fenwick, higher than Peabody, higher than our neighboring communities in number of AP classes.
And we had a state champion for basketball.
We have a basketball state champion, right? We covered athletics last time, so I figured I'd get some academics in this time. Yeah. But we have amazing things going on inside the school. The CTE program that our neighboring communities don't offer, which is one of the reasons why the school is on the higher end. But we have right now 6 CTE programs track to track that our students get a full education at Salem High. You don't have to go to a specific school to get a specific track. You can go to school at Salem High and get full AP classes and be well prepared for college. You can go to school at Salem High and get carpentry licensing. So it's really, we will educate every child fully at Salem High. We don't have a building now that matches that, and I think it would be amazing to give that to the next generation.
Well, I'm not sure how much, 5 minutes we have. Okay, so I just want to, and I will repeat it at the end, but sometimes we get to the end and it gets cut off. So this vote is coming up on Tuesday, May 5th. This show is being taped on Wednesday, April 22nd. I received a phone call on my way here from the city of Salem, and it said that the last day to register to vote for
to
that
get a mail-in ballot is Friday.
The 24th, and I believe this show is probably going to air after that, but anyways, and then, to pick up absentee ballots, there was some different information about that, but I was driving and could not hear all of the different things. I had it on speakerphone. But in any event, so that it's all a very important issue, just weigh your options here, whether or not you think a no vote will send things back to the drawing board and maybe find a more affordable solution, or go forward with a yes vote, which is a 30-year commitment, and those are the two sides that we have at this point.
We all know the power of one vote.
Yes,
You
don't
won
get me
by
started.
one vote.
Yes,
In
every
a
vote
recount.
counts.
If
Yeah.
you had to pay for it in a recount.
I won 4
So
times.
the power of the vote in this May 5th is going to be very, very important whether you vote no
Yeah.
or yes. Every vote will count. Most primaries get maybe a 15, 20% turnout.
Yeah.
This voter turnout on May 5th is going to be questionable. So the more, every vote will count, and you know.
Yeah, and we've never
firsthand.
had an election like this in the city of Salem.
That's
This is
right.
the first time we were having a debt exclusion, Prop 2.5, however you want to
Yeah.
phrase it, single issue ballot question, special election. So,
We had a
honestly-
special election for mayor a couple of years
special-
ago.
yeah,
and that
this
was
single
that was a
question.
subject that, again, most people understand because we elect a mayor, you know,
Well-
and that was a terribly low turnout.
I see both sides very active campaigning, and I think that's a
do
good
you?
thing.
Okay, I see
That's a
signs
good
for yes,
thing.
but
yeah,
nothing
that's
for
a good
no.
thing that happened,
Yeah.
and I hopefully, want to see both sides do what they need to do at the end. So bringing people out to vote,
Yeah.
because at the end of the day, you're right. I mean, if we just leave it right here, maybe one vote can be the difference, or no. But so at the end of the day, we, the citizens of Salem, need to make decisions
Right.
based on the fact of what information we have in our hand.
Yeah. Now, I don't specifically remember the numbers from the last mayoral election. Well, not the last one, the one Pengello versus Harrington, which was a special election in May, wasn't it, in May?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, it was also in May. And the turnout was quite low on that.
Very
But
low.
basically, we have a mayor the mayor at that time was elected mayor and received about 10% of the vote of Salem. So that's the thing. So you need to go and vote because you don't want to say, my tax bill, whatever, and not having anything, or gee whiz, how come the school is so bad and we had a chance to get a new one, and I didn't go vote for it. So the thing is this: you need to go out and vote, and that's the key thing, because the winning side on this, historically speaking, by the votes we've had, the winning side of this will comprise the votes of 10% of the population of Salem, thereabouts.
Yeah.
So it's they're the ones that are going to tell the other 90% what they're going to either spend or not spend on this project.
Okay, there's no winners, there's no losers, so to speak. The only thing is, it's one heck of a bill that has to be paid.
Yeah.
But could I just add here something completely different? Yesterday we had a gathering, a very happy gathering, where we presented Andrew LaPointe with a beautiful plaque. He was 23 years as the president of the community,
Friends.
CEO, for the CO, for the, and you were there, right,
Friends of-
Domingo?
the
Yes.
Friends of
Yes.
Salem Council on Aging.
Yes,
Yes,
right.
yes.
And a fundraising committee. Andy LaPointe and Cheryl LaPointe are the most wonderful people. And we wonderful if we could have dozens of people just like him. I wish we could clone them, really.
Absolutely, I totally
Oh,
agree.
they are, maybe in a few years, who knows?
And I had to say in a personal note for him that he's an inspirational person for me. He's one of my neighbors,
Yes.
and every time I see him pass by my house, that's kind of giving me hope and giving me a lot of inspiration. So I want to thank Andy, and I wish him the best out of retirement, and his beautiful family enjoys it. I think he got 7 grandkids. He have more than one me, and I told him, enjoy your grandkids now that you retire.
Volunteers
John?
make Salem shine. And we couldn't survive without volunteers on commissions and boards. I'm on the plan board, no money there either. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
So volunteers make Salem shine. And
Absolutely.
Andy is the best of Salem.
Yeah,
He did
absolutely.
20 plus years as a volunteer, Council on Aging, fundraising, which is very difficult. But he always said, you have to ask.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
You have to ask. And he asked.
Yes, he did.
He's a great guy. Great family. Great DNA.
Yes.
Okay. I never really dealt with him. I always dealt with Cheryl as the city clerk. Right.
The best. Number one.
Yeah.
He's our number one.
Yeah.
Number one and number one.
Yeah, yeah. But that was the thing. Okay. We have 1 minute left. Last words, you're in the school committee.
Yep, so there's still time to learn about the upcoming May 5th election, so voteyesforsalem.com brings to the campaign website, or salemmass.gov/Salem High School will bring you to the building committee website, get your questions answered, and you might see this before the next forum that's on Zoom Sunday night. You can find that information on the building committee website as well.
Students
Okay.
can't vote. We are the
Well, if they're
voters.
18.
We have to represent them. Some of them are 18. some.
Seniors.
Yeah, but they're not
18.
paying either.
They're not paying, right.
Right, so that's,
But it's their future. This vote is very important.
that's true, okay.
No, I
Very
would
good.
say the same, man. Go out and vote, and whatever choice you made is going to be the best. Remember, you're talking about you children, my children, the future children of Salem. The best, I think, the best jewel that any city have. So just do it. Go out and vote.
TC,
Well, I'm saying tomorrow at noontime, the Community Life Center is putting on a luncheon for all the people who do volunteer here in the city of Salem.
okay, unfortunately, that will show up after this shows after that luncheon is over.
Yeah.
So, but
But the people will know that they did it.
Okay, that's right.
Nice.
And again, the voters, to boil it down, you're committing to a 30-year money. How much was it, the amount per year, TC?
$800.
$800? Okay, for average, again, not for everyone, but average bill, tax bill go up $800 with this. And the no vote would say, well, we're going to have to go back to the drawing board and look for other options. Those are their two choices. But it is important because, again, in these type of voter turnouts on these single issue ones are very, very slim, which means that 10% of the voting public in Salem could be deciding what the other 90% is stuck with.
Well, the other thing is I'm going to vote no with the idea that Salem doesn't usually do their maintenance, so the money may never be spent.
Okay.
Well, I will say the no vote, your bill will still go up because either way we have to do something
Yeah,
to
we
the
pay
high
for it.
school. So a no vote doesn't mean no increase in taxes.
Okay.